Jackie. We are going to be talking to you today about forecasting, graduation, where am I at for graduation, what do I still need for graduation, and what classes should I forecast for. The first thing we're going to talk to you about is your transcript. What is it? Why is it important? Why does it matter? The transcript you're going to see us looking at today, we've blocked out all the personal information. However, what we want you to see is pay attention to a couple things. First of all, you're going to see that each semester there's a breakdown of the classes that you took and the grades you received. Also going to notice that in the far end it says additional state requirements. If you are a junior and senior, you should see most of these met or unmet depending if you've passed your state testing. If you're a freshman or sophomore, especially a freshman, you will see none of this met. If you're a sophomore, your science one might be met. Now you'll notice this student doesn't have science. That's because the seniors don't have to have the science state requirement. So as I look here, I can see different things on the transcript. What is my cumulative credit amount? What are my cumulative GPA? This is stuff that's very important when you're looking at colleges. I can also see semester GPAs. I can see different classes over here. If I'm a transfer student, if I'm a regular student who's never transferred, the code that you want to pay attention to is the 3 letters right here. So ENG, English, MAT, Math, PE. So those are some of the things you're going to see. Mr. Sanford later will be showing you how to take stuff off of your transcript and put it onto your graduation check sheet. For now, we want you just to be familiar with your transcript and paying attention to it so that you'll know what to look for. The next item you're going to be working with is your graduation check sheet. This is what tells you what you have to meet graduation requirements at Westchester High School. So all students must have 4 years of English. All students must have 2.5 credits of social studies, 3 if you're looking at going on to colleges, a half of health, and 1.5 years of PE, 3 credits of math, 2 credits of science. In particular, you need to have a year of life science and a year of physical science. Life science, biology, marine biology, zoology. Physical science would be things like chemistry, physics. 2 years of career and technical education credit, 1 year of fine art credit, and 6.5 of electives. These are just the credit requirements. As I look further down on this sheet, you can see down here there are even more graduation requirement information. So the total amount of credits, but down here is really important. State tests required for graduation. If met, check. So you put a check mark in it if you've met it. So all students, regardless of your grade level, have to pass the reading and the writing HISP tests. The biology EOC is just for the classes of 2015 and beyond. So 2015, 2016, 2017. The math EOC, if you're the class of 2013 and 2014, you only have to meet 1. If you're in the math class, graduating class of 2015 and 2016, you have to have 2 math EOCs. So again, this is where we're tracking our information so that you know what have I met, what do I still need to meet, and what will I do with all this stuff when I go to forecast.
Mr. Sanford here to show you how to get classes from your transcript to the graduation checklist. As you go through your transcript, you want to make sure that you're crossing off classes that have been put on your checklist. So for example, this class academic focus, you see TRF, that's going to be an elective. So you cross it off, then you put it over here under elective, under focus, 0.5 credits. So you're going to do that for each class as you go down. Algebra has the MAT, so that's math. You're going to do the same thing for math. Algebra, 0.5. If there's a class that doesn't have a 0.5 in this column, you didn't earn credit. So as you go down here, you see that this student failed geometry. And we're not putting that on the credit checklist because that student did not earn credit. 0 credits there. You also see down here that this student passed the HISP reading. Come down here, go down, and see the HISP reading. We're checking that off. And the HISP writing. Satisfactory. Students actually earn a little bit of credit, but we're not going to count those credits for the time being. Another thing on the transcript has indicators of all those tests as well. So MET for reading, writing, math, high school and beyond plan, culminating or senior project, and then the Washington State history. When you see MET under Washington State history, when you go back to your graduation checklist, you're going to check off the Washington State history. Unless you took that in high school. If you took it in high school, you'll get credit for it. If you took it in middle school, you'll check it off. Another thing we want you to be aware of is that world history, for example, is here. That will be checked off as a social studies elective, World 1.5. If a student also did World History 2 on the graduation checklist, that is going over with electives, World 2, which fulfills that 3 credits to best prepare for college. So if you take more than 4 years of English, any more English will go towards electives. If you take 3 years of science, after that second year, all those sciences will go in the electives column. This should match up ultimately with what it says on Skyward. So when you get your login and password and you're looking at your grades on Family Access and Skyward, this should match up with your graduation requirements on Skyward. If you don't see that matching up, let Mr. Sanford or Ms. Mackey know so that we can make sure it does, because it should. So that's another reason why this is important. We want to make sure this matches up with your Skyward Family Access in graduation requirements. One thing to make a note of is that if a student needs fine arts credit, there are classes that count as both fine arts or CTE or electives, and they count in a number of different categories. So one example is Digital Photography 2. Even though the code is VOC, which would go under the CTE, it would go here typically. If a student needs fine arts, that photo can also go under the fine arts category. If those are full, then that digital photo would go in the electives category. And the same goes for many classes. In the curriculum guide, it lists what those classes can count towards, and Mr. Sanford and Ms. Mackey can also help guide you if you have more questions about that.
Finally, students, now you're prepared for forecasting, which will begin. You will all forecast in March during HISP testing week. So the next couple of weeks, you're going to be reintroduced to career cruising online. You're going to have to pick out your classes for next year. So knowing where you stand academically is the best position so that you can pick the appropriate classes. Thank you for paying attention. Have a great day.